evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Bruss, and on behalf of Geelong Regional Libraries, I'm delighted to welcome you all to today's event with local author Barbara Cook. I would like to acknowledge the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation and the Gulidjan and Gadavanud people of the Maar Nations as the original owners of the land on which our library services operate. We pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. We acknowledge and celebrate First Nations peoples of this land as the custodians of learning, literacy, knowledge and story. We're very pleased to be hosting Barbara Cook today. Barbara is a retired primary teacher and secondary teacher of dance choreography. She is now an awareness facilitator and author. Her book, A Good Choice, A Soul Story, was one of 3 finalists in the New Age Fiction category of the International Book Awards 2016. During this event, Barbara will talk to us about following your soul's prompts, lifelong learning, living a vibrant life at any age, synchronicities and following our passions. So Barbara's going to do a presentation for about 30 minutes and then I'll be jumping in with a bit of Q&A. So please welcome me in joining Barbara Cook.
Wow, you all turned up. Yes, tonight is the official launch of Good Choice, A Soul Story as an audiobook. But it's not just about my journey. What I'm about to share with you will have you having little light bulbs going off inside of you as you remember those little magic moments in your life where inner promptings urged you to move in a certain direction. And my journey towards getting this as an audiobook started with a heartburst. What I mean by that is, it's just that thing that's drawing you forward and that's got you lit up. You've probably experienced this yourself. And my heartburst was in the form of an online course. It was a Mind Valley course. Now, I'm always a bit sketchy with online courses. I don't know about you, but I've got them all stored up and I don't actually do them. Anyone? Yeah, a few nods going on there. But this course, there was just something about it that was drawing me in. It was called Manifesting Your Extraordinary Self. Has anyone read any books on manifesting, done any things like that? A few people? So manifesting is the idea that you can have something in your awareness that you'd like to bring to reality. And if you tune into that and you keep your vibration high and you keep imagining it, imagine the feeling of it, it will turn up in your life eventually. And in this manifesting course, one of the things I decided that I would have an intention for, so you have to make your intentions. I felt like I'd love to get Good Choice, A Soul Story out to a wider audience. It's been around since 2015. But what was my motivation there? I thought, am I after accolades? No, it didn't feel like that. It felt like I was looking for connection and resonance. Because I was really starting to see a lot of books and podcasts that were talking about the same kind of perspectives that are already in my book. I went, wow, my book's written on quite a symbolic level. And it might be just that thing that somebody needs to see in that form that will help them walk along beside them on their own soul journey. So I was clear on this intention. Then what they encourage us to do in a manifesting course is to create a visual representation of that, sometimes called a mood board. So I made my little poster for each of my intentions. And you have to show gratitude, so I'm saying, thank you for getting Good Choice out to a wider audience, helping people uncover their own stories, and you find some images, and one of the images is a little bit outlandish, so I won't show you just yet, maybe later, I'll show you later. So, in your manifesting course, you've got your intention, you're clear on your motivation, made your mood board. Now you can't just sit there and just wait for the magic fairy to just go ping and make it all happen. That would be like having an intention of winning the lottery and not buying a ticket. Oh, oops, I just told you one of my other intentions. So the thing is, there's this thing called a reality gap. That means you're here, your intention, the thing you would like to manifest is here. There's a gap in time and a gap in it hasn't happened yet. And in that time, if you're not careful, you can fill up that with a feeling or a vibration of lack. I'm not there yet. It hasn't manifested yet. I'll be happy when I get that thing. So you've actually dropped down in your vibration into a feeling of it hasn't arrived. So the trick is to fill up that reality gap with higher vibrations. You can be just grateful for where you are now. You can keep imagining that thing happening. And one of the things in this course was saying that you can start getting curious about what's one thing that I can do or find out or approach somebody about or learn that's going to support that end result. And if you're having a lot of fun and getting curious when you're learning, that becomes the fulfillment. So it really doesn't even matter whether you end up with that or not. So the reality trap was sorted. I've got myself all organised. I've got a clear intention and I know my motivation, all ready to go. So with that, what happened then? I didn't even realise I'd entered the flow state. Now the flow state, you might have heard people talking about that in regard to art or maybe sports or music. And it's that state where you've just surrendered to the moment, time just passes and things just happen and fall into place. So the flow state looks a bit like this. When I'm in the flow state, I've aligned with my soul, which has been pulling me forward. I've aligned with that higher vibration. And it's like the universe just comes in and arranges things for me and just choreographs it all around me. And it's almost like the universe senses that, or it lines up with you and says, we've got a live one here. And things just start dropping in. Things get handed to me. Ideas, people I need to see are automatically there without me having to force it, organise it, because I'm a pretty good organiser. I'm pretty good with that. But there's a different type of organisation that's out of my hands and way beyond anything that I could imagine. So let me explain how this flow state panned out during this process. The first thing that dropped into me is getting it out to a wider audience. I'd love to be on that podcast called Bat Gap. It's an American podcast, been going for years. It stands for Buddha at the Gas Pump. And it's stories of people, everyday people, having awakening experiences. And I thought, I'd love to go on that. It's a bit outlandish idea because there's some really famous people get on that podcast. I thought, well, it won't hurt to try. Get online, up comes a form. If you have a book to share with Rick, the host, put the details in here, write down some things you'd like to discuss. Bob's your uncle, filled it all in, sent it off. 2 days later, I got an email from Rick's wife, Irene, who's the manager of this podcast. And she said in the email, I don't know where you got that form from. That form is not supposed to be available online. That form is the one we send privately to people that we've already approved to be on the podcast. Has anyone ever had something with technology? Weird stuff goes on. And she said, in any case, we're not even accepting new people on the podcast. It's been closed for ages because we've got such a backlog. Ooh, what happened there? So that's just sitting there as a potential. They've got my details, you never know. And it's not as if I was attached to the outcome. But the thing that I learned there was, in this form it said, Rick prefers to receive your book on Audible. So he likes to listen to your book while he's walking the dogs. Audible! Never thought of that before. So there was that idea. Now I'm getting curious. I step in and go, right, I wonder if anyone can have their book made into an audiobook. Online, that's my little gesture for online, you know what that is. And I get on there and yes, there's a whole network of professional narrators all over the world. And they will handle it all for you at a price. And now that I've been through the process, I know why it's expensive, but that wasn't within my budget. So I let that go. The next question that dropped in was, I wonder if you could do it yourself. wonder if anybody could self-narrate it. Because after all, my book's got a certain energy to it, and so have the characters in it. And I felt like I'd be the one who'd be able to convey that the best in my voice. Online, I can't. Yes, there's this website called Find Away Voices. You can do it yourself. And it's free. What the heck happened there? They take royalties, of course, but that's to be expected. And I did all my checks, my scammer checks. It was all fine, the reviews are all good. I'm going to have a crack at this. Right, so then I started to think, narration. I know how to read a book to kids, but I don't know much about the voice, really. I was going to need to find somebody. So here along comes the lovely Tara Vag. I was put onto Tara by a friend, a voice coach in Geelong, and I booked a 1 hour private session with Tara. What she didn't teach me in that 1 hour about the voice is not worth knowing. She taught me about grounding, about breathing from the diaphragm and the belly so that you don't have those audible sounds as you're speaking. She taught me about resonance. Did you know that if you speak in different areas of your body, it comes out sounding differently and then you have different sort of feeling to it? What the heck? And I could use that to convey my different characters without having to put on a bunch of weird voices. So, we're all ready to go. Oh, she also taught me about warming up the voice. I'll show you. Stand up. Repeat after me. Very good. There's another one which articulates your mouth for all the different sounds. And you start with a letter of the alphabet. Say I started with R. I go ra 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 ra, and then I go on to S, sa 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 sa. Like so always a sound after it, and you keep going like that. So we'll try it from the start of the alphabet, but you leave out the vowels, okay? Because you can't add that to a vowel. So we're going to start with the letter B, the sound B, so it's ba, and then go through the letters. You ready? Ba 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 ba. Yeah, well, okay, right. Sit down, thank you. Very good. So the next thing, something was happening all around about that same time as that, was I was realising on Find Away Voices, they make it very clear that not just any old audio can be uploaded. They won't accept your files unless they're really top quality. Because who listens to audiobooks here? Yeah, so you don't want shushing and fushing, you don't want the garbage truck going down the street, you don't want like somebody yelling in your ear all of a sudden with like that. So it's very, very specific. And I realised that recording it on my phone was just not going to cut it. Even recording it in my walk-in wardrobe, like some of you see me do on Instagram, that was not going to cut it. I was going to need a professional recording studio. Right, who do I know that might know? Oh, I know. Stephen, my friend who's a sound guru. Thank you, Stephen. Hey, Stephen, do you know if there's any sound recording studios in Geelong which don't cost an arm and a leg that I could use on an extended basis? Oh no, they're pretty pricey, says Stephen. Maybe the State Library in Melbourne. So I got online and found out, yes, they do have a facility there. But then I thought through the logistics. Okay, I'm going to need it 3 hours a day for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then I went, I'm not going to be able to go down to Melbourne on the train for that length of time. So I let that go. But the word library was sitting there. Library. Okay. Get online again. Now, this part here is going to blow your socks off. Are you ready? This is the most miraculous thing that happened. I found out this library here, which has only been open at this time for 6 months, has a professional recording studio for people to use. It's up on level 3, at the top there with a view of the car park, and it's there ready to go for people to use, and it's got the 2 professional microphones just sitting there rating. It's got the ring light, it's got a green screen behind you if you want to run a podcast. It's got the software and the computer, mixing desk, all ready to go. What just happened there? And it's like, back at the start of this process, if my clever little thinking mind was trying to organise this, it would never have been able to put in such an elegant and easy solution handed to me on a plate. And even divine timing. If I'd been trying to do this project 2 years ago, that doesn't exist. I would have come up against a block and I would have let the project go probably. So like, what this vast intelligence that's going on underneath us all to support us in what we're doing is just beyond belief. I can't get over it. So I headed off every day, a few times a week, to the library here, got to meet the beautiful staff here, and each day that I was heading off, I had this little fluttering feeling into my heart, like as if I've met my new boyfriend or your new girlfriend. You know remember that feeling? And it's like, you know, that thing that you just love, and you see it up on a big screen somewhere, and you go, oh. Yeah, I'm sure you all do that. Yeah, so that's your soul telling you that you're aligned. It's leading you forward. So over the few weeks, I got all my audio tracks down, done. Time to send them off? Not quite. Then you look on the Find Away Voices website and you find out that there are really specific technical requirements. I'll give you an example. So once you've got your audio tracks down, then you have to master them, which means to edit them for all the levels. Your volume needs to be between minus 23 and minus 18 decibels. Your peak levels, well, they have to be less than minus 3 decibels. Then your noise floor, that's got to be less than minus 60 dBs. And your file format needs to be 192 kbps or higher CBR, etc. It goes on. Well, didn't YouTube get a good workout then? It's amazing what you can learn on YouTube. So I basically spent hours and hours, days and days, on tutorials, figuring out what all that meant, and then figuring out how to implement that and edit the files. So gradually I learned it, and you know, it went along really smoothly. Oh, well, that's my technology face. But in general, even the learning felt flowy. And I learned something about learning. When you're retired, you've got all the time in the world. There's no deadlines, there's no due dates. That absolutely freed me up. Along with the fact that it's my passion, it's my self-directed learning that I'm doing. That is the thing that lights me up and gets me going. So once I came along with that face, I could put it aside, let it go, that's fine, I'll pick it up the next day. And eventually I did it. So I managed to upload the files, cross my fingers, because as I said, if anything's wrong, they send it back, redo it. So it was only maybe a week later that I got an email from them saying, all of your files have been approved on the first go. And then it took another few weeks only, and I got another email back saying, congratulations, your book, Good Choice, The Soul Story, is now live on Apple, Spotify, and 31 other audio platforms around the world. Boom! The big one, Audible, took a little bit longer because they've got even more stringent requirements, but that went through as well, and without anything being sent back. So, look at that. I had an intention, I got clear on my motivation, I got into the flow state, everything flowed along beautifully until this happened. I have a feeling there might be a few people in the audience who know about this state. And yes, I did do a photo shoot in my garden with my rock. Look, I want to bring it out in the open. This is a normal part of the process. Anybody who's ever done anything where you step outside of your comfort zone, expect this stuff to happen. It's a thing. There are names for it. The imposter syndrome, negative self-talk, the inner critic, and even the saboteur, which means there can be some really unconscious thought patterns and beliefs in there that will sabotage my efforts because it wants me to get back in that comfort zone, shut the gate. I've learned that it's actually trying to protect me, those kind of negative voices. They've got a protective function, or had in the past. Now, in the past, I would have been completely taken over by those voices and I would give up or step back and let it go. But nowadays, I think a lot of it is because of my meditation practice that I've learned to witness the thoughts rather than be overtaken by them. And I can watch them and I can befriend it, because this is just one big package of fear right there. So I can make friends with the fear, and I've got ways of processing that so that it has less of a hold on me. And these are the kind of things I love talking about in my stories on Medium, and also I'm starting to put quite a few of them onto my YouTube channel. It's a little series called Listen Along with Barb, 10-minute audio stories. So I love sharing my process and how I go about dealing with this. So these voices would come up regularly, like every couple of days, and I'd be starting, oh, there you are again, thank you, but not required, and I'd move on. So enough about me, what about you? As you're sitting there, listening, have there been light bulbs going off? Going, oh, that happened and that this. Maybe you've had that classic one where you're thinking about somebody, you haven't thought about them for ages, and all of a sudden they ring you up that night. Yep, some people nodding with that one. Maybe lyrics of a song come in and it becomes really meaningful for you. Maybe that book that somebody hands you just at the time you need it, or you're in the library and that cover just put you, right, that's exactly what I need to read now. Maybe you have a recurring dream. There's probably a few people sitting in this room right now going, I've just had that recurring dream again. And it's soul prompts, it's like little nudges from your soul trying to give you a message. Sometimes it can come even in the form of a repeated number in your life. There's that number again, what's going on with that number? I even Google it now, spiritual meaning of the number, such and such. Now, I don't want you to think I'm going around going, oh, it's a sign, everything's a sign. But this is amazing when you Google the numbers, because somebody who knows about numerology and has a sensitivity to it, they've been tuning into this and somehow they've channeled all this information. And when I have Googled it, quite often it's a really accurate message about this is where you are. You've just come through this and this is where you are now. And it's like the universe is trying to say, you're on the right track, keep going. A little bit of encouragement there. Maybe you've had something where there's a fork in the road and there's some new direction calling you. And you might ignore it for a while, but it's still there. And are you going to step there and see and uncover the potential of that? Or are you going to stay back here? Only your soul will know. You'll know when that feels right, your intuition will tell you. Perhaps you had a magic moment happen when you met your partner, or when you bought your house. Perhaps there's some divine timing that's happened for you as well, where you realise in retrospect, oh, that thing couldn't have happened back then. Of course it couldn't. I wasn't ready then. Maybe you've had something really challenging go on. And in retrospect, when you're going through it, it doesn't feel like anything at all soulful. But you might be able to look back and go, oh yeah, that did need to happen because something fundamentally inside of me needed to change. Maybe you've even found Facebook and Instagram posts. Aren't they lovely when they just pop in at the right time? And your passion, that thing you love to do that you can spend 3 hours on without even knowing the time is gone. That's your soul, keeping you aligned. Do more of that. There's just one problem about all this tuning in, being aware of your soul problems, all that kind of stuff. What's the problem? Well, a lot of the rest of the world hasn't caught up with that yet. And you might have heard, like me, on podcasts and shows where regular host interviewing regular person about regular stuff, all of a sudden they start veering off into this territory about these unseen things happening. And you'll find them like pull back pretty quickly, they'll scramble back, apologise, oh, don't want to go there, and they might even denigrate it. And there's a pretty common term going around now that somebody made up about it's really dismissive of this unseen energy that's guiding us all. Oh, we don't go near the woo-woo. Look, I totally get it because I've been there. I've spent a lot of my life in the intellectual, rational mind, as if that was the only way of having knowledge. And there is a place for that. It's awesome, that intellectual, rational mind. But there's so much more than the reality where it's things are about proof, and if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. As I said, I was there for very many years, but nowadays I'm much more in tune with these subtle energies that are giving me little soul prompts, leading me forward as if it's instructions. In fact, I've actually made up a new saying, which you are welcome to use at any time, but just remember that you heard it here first. Thank you. And I'll finish this part of the talk with a quote which shows clearly that this is nothing new. It's not new age. I mean, anybody who's prayed in their life knows about this unseen energy. The Indigenous peoples all over the world know this. This is part of their world. And this writer is from 1854, an American writer called Henry Thoreau. Old Henry sure did embrace the woo-woo. If one advances confidently in the direction of her dreams, she will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. She will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within her, and she will live with the license of a higher order of beings. So while Jen and I are just setting up for the next part of the talk, somebody's going to come along and just put a bunch of these at the side of your aisle, and if you wouldn't mind passing them along, if you'd like to keep one, do. So you might like to have that on your fridge. And on the back there's another profound quote. Thank you.
I just want to say a big congratulations to Barbara. This is the first time you've done a presentation like this. You've put in so much effort across the last couple of weeks. I've seen how passionate you are about this project, so I just wanted to say a big shout out to you. It's really nice seeing someone so inspired and passionate in what they do. Yeah. So we spoke a lot about your journey. Now we're going to focus a little bit on the book. So can you give us a bit of an overview of A Good Choice, A Soul's Story?
Okay, so a soul goes into a waiting room prior to birth and has a meeting with two consultants who are going to help it find the exact placement it needs to evolve in this lifetime. And then in the last half of the book, the soul is now a 5-year-old child, and she finds her way into this magical corner shop that's just somehow appeared. And in there, she meets the lovely old lady, Mrs. Mills, who helps her choose the protective behaviours she's going to need in order to get her safely through childhood. So as you can see, it's a spiritual allegory, in a way.
Very nice. So it was published in 2015, but it was written 10 years earlier, I think you've told me. What finally prompted you to publish it?
Okay, so there's a man involved. Okay, so it started off 10 years prior, and it was, my marriage had broken down, and towards the end of that process, I'd been awoken in the night writing poetry, which I'd never written before, and then soon after the marriage breakup, I just started being woken up again, or during the day I'd just have to run over and write stuff down. And it was like this story just came through me without me really writing it. And it wasn't a blow-by-blow description of what had happened. He said this and I said that. It wasn't a look what worked for me. This story was a really symbolic representation of it, and it helped me see what my soul has been up to in this lifetime in order to help me grow. And it had grown a lot during this breakdown. So I wrote it all down, and then once it had all come out, I went, yes, that gave me a whole perspective on the big picture. That was so helpful. Typed it all up and put it up the top in my wardrobe. And I forgot about it. I thought that was just really helpful back then. It was about maybe 10 years later that I met a man, and I had a lovely time with this man. I thought maybe he might have been my soulmate. and that finished. So after that finished, it was like, oh no, I just had a real heartburst of compassion for all those relationships that start off madly in love, and then if somebody can't see their patterns and can't see that they're actually a little child in armour butting up against the other person's armour, then it's not to be resolved. But I just had this heartburst, like, oh, and I could see, could I just run a course or something, or can I just do something just to help all these relationships? And somehow there was this voice that said, that thing you wrote, oh, I forgot about that thing, what's in that thing? Got up the wardrobe, pulled it all down, started reading, and I was just sitting there crying and crying, going, I've just seen all of this reflected in that other person. And so there was just this heartburst to go, I've got to put this out there. I've got to do something with this and share it.
That's nice. I love that that's your therapeutic process. Mine's eating biscuits. So
all valid.
So your book dedication reads, to all who have been sleeping and are ready to awaken. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I feel like I know what it's like to live most of my life asleep in a spiritual sense, and that there's a lot of unconscious stuff that's still stored in there, like any unhealed emotion that was not allowed to be felt when I was a child. It's stored in there, it's in my cells. And as an adult, I get the opportunity to release and to clear that if only I pay attention to the triggers that are coming up in my face and allowing me the opportunity to feel that emotion again and to clear it in little bits and pieces. So it feels to me that I know what it is to be asleep and to start to waken up. And I feel like there's a lot of people in the world who are starting to wake up to the fact that they are on a soul journey here. And your soul's trying to give you messages and trying to help you grow and evolve. And I want to be part of that, walking beside people as they awaken.
So what do you hope readers will gain from your book?
I think probably the main thing is to get an overview of your life. So while you're reading this book, it's not a how-to, it's nothing at all prescriptive. You won't find 10 top tips for an easy life in there, wish I could, but it's a book where people read it, and because it's in this allegorical story, the soul does something with that and finds the bits that you particularly need to learn from that. And I've had various people that have found one little bit in there. And when you pick up the book and when you put it down at the end, you are changed. You're different because of what's gone in somehow in a transmission. And if you read it in 3 years' time, you'll get something different out of it. Some people have reported that they've got a real understanding of, yes, of course I had to be the firstborn and the daughter, because I had to learn all that, what that meant. Of course I had to be born in this era where all this spiritual stuff is opening up, that my soul was ready for that. So I guess I would hope that people would get a little bit more freedom from the repeated patterns that have been dogging them maybe all their lives, and they might get a sense of perspective.
Did you have any challenges in sharing your book with the world?
You mean apart from all that stuff you saw on the... Yeah, no, pretty much all that, really. Yeah, like, I think I did a post, or I made a little poster for myself back then. You're not an author, you only sent 10 copies, yeah, those voices were pretty full on, kept going the whole time. Yeah.
So is this the only book that you've written, or do you write anything else? And are you currently working on anything?
This is the only book I've written, and I am working on other things as well. So I love to write short stories. They seem to just come through me as well. And I love submitting those to magazines and competitions. And I've just had an article, my first article published in Wellbeing magazine, this month's Wellbeing. It's got one of my articles in there, which is really fun. I also love, as I said, putting my short stories onto my YouTube channel for people to listen to as an audio story. I've got an appointment tomorrow, a Zoom appointment, to pitch 2 children's books to a publisher. So it's like a speed date. You get 10 minutes to pitch your 2 stories. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Can we get an insider scoop on what the story's about? Or?
Oh, okay. All right. One's about Frankie the Kelpie, who tries to help on the farm in all sorts of ways he shouldn't be helping, like clearing the emails when the mum's a bit bamboozled with everything. And he tries all these different ways. And then in the end, he sort of just discovered, he says to his mum one night, "What's my job? They keep telling me that's not your job, that's not your job." And she says, "Your job, my love, is to be a pup."
Oh.
So it's like that nostalgia for a carefree childhood. And Frankie the Kelpie eventually finds his real job and he's a top, herding dog.
Oh, that sounds really cute. I hope that gets picked up. How can readers who've enjoyed your book help others find it?
Yeah, this goes for any book, really, I'd say. It's probably writing reviews. If you feel that it's touched something in you, as I said before, I'm not interested in accolades or anything like that. It's really about that resonance and connection. So, as with any book that you read, I'd highly recommend you and invite you to put a review on. So on Amazon, or if you're a member of Goodreads, or if you're on Audible or Spotify, if you can even take the time just to put a little quick comment about how it moved you, because they are super important to help the book find its way into the hands of the people who might need to hear it just at that time. And it's that thing, when you get on Amazon or whatever, and it comes up with all these suggestions, "Oh, you like that, you'll probably like this as well." The only reason you get those is because somebody's taken the trouble to review them, and then the algorithm, whatever that is, lines you up with other books that... It's marvellous, the algorithm, isn't it? Yeah, so write the reviews, and also probably you might have seen that little business card. If anybody would like to ask me any questions or has any feedback about tonight, I've even put my email there, which I probably wouldn't normally hand out, but I'd love to hear from you. You can follow me on Instagram or YouTube, and if anybody's on that international blog format platform called Medium, you can follow me on there. And there's even a QR code on that little sheet. If you feel like you'd like to hear about when I put another book out. Thank you. And if I ever do any workshops or anything, if you'd like to put yourself into that newsletter, you're most welcome to. And I'll be very, very occasional with it. I'm not at all once a month or anything. It'll just be when something comes up.
No Barbara spam. No. Okay, good. Those are the end of my formal questions. I just want to open up if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask Barbara. Otherwise, we can all have tea and Vicky's shortly. So if anyone has a question, just pop your hand up. Yep.
I don't have a question, but I'd just like to say how amazing your book is, and everybody should listen to it. I listened to it on Audible, and if you haven't heard it, it's amazing. So thank you.
I'm not a religious person, and the one thing that sort of stops me a little bit in my tracks with your book is the use of the word soul.
Mm-hmm.
So what is another interpretation of that word if you don't want to see it as a religious thing?
Yeah.
What is your soul?
Gosh.
Being very philosophical.
I got an answer for that.
Yeah.
Wow. That'd probably be a discussion group, I think. I feel like it's the spirit that activates you. Has anybody got anything that they'd like to say?
No, I heard something like this the other day, and the guy said, "I want you to say elephant in your head, but don't say it." but
Okay.
you can hear yourself say it,
Right.
right? And then, so you can hear it and you can say it without hearing it and saying it. So what is that that's saying it and hearing it?
Oh, your consciousness. So maybe it's your subconscious.
Consciousness, perhaps something to do with consciousness. And it's like that thing, I think I asked some people in my meditation group one time, well, are you your thoughts? We're having this discussion about that. And I said, well, what about if somebody's got Alzheimer's? They haven't got those coherent thoughts. So where have they gone? Where's their essence? And they go, well, the essence is still there somewhere. So maybe it's sort of your essence, perhaps? Yeah. Great question. Thanks for that, Monica.
Need to read the book.
I've read it.
I just wanted to say, I 100% agree with everything that Barb is saying, because she came into my life from a little community group in our neighbourhood, and every time I think about her or I see something, my husband fixed her oven, and every time the numbers would come up. So I think that's my mother-in-law.
Really?
Who bought her book has millions of books that have been sitting on my bookshelf that were hers, and then I saw this, and then every time I'd be like, I'm going to go to look at Barb's book, I'm going to go to her thing every time I get those numbers. So I'm just incredibly grateful that you came into my life, and yeah.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Kat.
Yeah, I just wanted to say as well that I haven't, to be completely honest, I haven't listened to the audiobook yet. I haven't read the book, but I'm going
She
to.
your friend? We should.
Used to be a friend.
I just wanted to let you know that because I will be listening to it and reading it after. But I came to this and I can resonate with what you were saying because I met you through the flash mob that you organised a while back. And that came into my life at a time when I was really struggling mentally. And it was amazing, and I've met people from it. People sitting next to me now, and I met. Yeah.
Are you going to flash mob here?
No, I need to practice. And let's really start lessons again. But yeah, so it really, that meant a lot to me. When I saw this pop up, I'm a local, I thought, I really want to come to this. And I've had a really hard 2 days, and coming to this has just really relaxed me, so thank you.
Thank you so much. And I mean, that just means so much to me as well, because that feeling of I'm ready to be connecting with people on a deeper level. And like, I don't know what's going to happen with this audiobook or whatever, but these kind of connections, they're happening all around me, and it's just miraculous, and my heart is so full. So thank you.
I'd love to thank Barbara for a wonderful presentation and conversation. It was amazing. It was really interesting and very heartwarming as well. If you're interested in purchasing a copy of Barbara's book, we have sales happening at the back of the room. Barbara will be signing and chatting, I think, as well. And there'll be tea and coffee and there's some biscuits at the back of the room. So thank you for coming along, and on behalf of Geelong Libraries, we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, and I would love to just finish off with a big thanks to Jen and all of the staff, and just Geelong Regional Library Corporation in general. The things they do to support local authors is just amazing. So for me to, hang on, I'll just show you this thing. Wait a minute.
She said she brought props, so.
Remember I was telling you that I made a mood board or a little poster about, having gratitude for getting it out to a wide audience. I put this ridiculous photo on here, and it was a woman giving a talk in a library. 10th of the 1st, 2024. I just didn't even know this was going to happen, but when I was approved for it, I'm just so grateful for your support, so thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening, and yeah, stick around for some tea, coffee, Vicky's, or to just give Barb a hug, I guess.